It's Players Weekend in Kansas City, an opportunity for Major League players throughout baseball to express themselves. They're allowed to put their nicknames on the back of their jersey. They're even allowed to wear special shoes and adorn their uniforms however they like. The nicknames are great, but does anything top this? Not Justin Bieber. He's going to be starting in Sunday's series finale. Those are Frankie Lindor's spikes. Mike Clevenger's got some pretty sweet rides. He'll be on the hill tonight for the Indians as they open up a 3-game weekend series here in Kansas City. And we're getting in on the act, too. We've got our own Players Weekend jerseys. Not
Maddie,
exactly
Archie?
original, but
No, they're not. They're not.
but we're going to have fun. Andre's going to be downstairs with us as well, and it's going to be a great weekend here in Kansas City as the Indians try to bounce back after losing the last 2 games in Boston. Francisco Lindor, well, he's somebody the Kansas City Royals have to have circled as don't let this guy beat us.
Well, and he's enjoyed it in his career, hitting against Kansas City. When you look at his numbers, a .340 average, 17 homers, 54 RBIs. This is not a really good place to hit in, but he has had a lot of success here. And this year against him in the 9 games, he has 4 home runs, 10 ribbies, 12 runs scored, and 14 hits. So he just continues to hurt the Kansas City Royals offensively.
Mike Clevenger gets the start today for the Indians. Clev has really been pitching well here of late, and that's got to be good news as we get ready to head down the stretch.
Well, he went through a little slump there where he had a tough time where he was not able to win a ball game. But you know what? Maybe he was nibbling a little too much and throwing too many pitches, but he's settling in right now. He's 2-0 over his last 3 starts, a 150 earned run average. And the Kansas City Royals, he's had a lot of luck against. He's 4-0 in his career against them.
Kansas City limps into this series having lost 17 of their last 21 games. Indians-Royals here in Kansas City. We'll be back with the play-by-play coming up in a little bit. Jay Lou and Al Powell will be up next from the studio, and we'll check in with our man Dre Knott, all coming up. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians, and by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud. open up a 3-game weekend series between the Tribe and the Royals. And it is a special players weekend. And we go downstairs for more on that with Andre Knott.
I was just checking your name. Can you turn around so we know exactly who you are? You're Dan Otero, right? It's OT, not OP.
Not OP.
Not OP. You have a great night. All right, this weekend will be fun for all the players. We really did want to change Dan's name to OP to see if Tito would know the difference. But here's the players talking about the fun that they're having with the uniforms, the socks, the bats, all the things that they get to wear this weekend.
It's pretty neat. I was browsing through social media earlier today, just seeing kind of what everybody has going on. It's crazy. And even the guys here, just allowing the personalities to show through. You see Clev in his cleats, something that he's doing. And guys are decked out from head to toe. So should be a fun weekend. Fun weekend for the fans, for the players, for everyone involved.
Last year, when I first requested the name, they had to go through the rights with Pitbull. Really? And I've met him a few times, so just throwing it out there. But you know, he gave the okay to wear it, and you know, here I am, and now that's what it's going to be this year.
I think guys enjoy it. You know, I think it's a chance for players to kind of show a little bit of their personality if they want to express themselves in different ways. You know, whether it be nicknames or shoes or bats, you know, sleeves, things like that. It gives guys a chance to kind of break from the ordinary.
A lot of people like to jokingly mistake me for him, so I thought I'd just make it clear, put it on the back of my jersey. But you know, kind of just playing into the joke a little bit and leaning into it. And I actually texted some of my buddies when I was told I'd come up with a nickname, and they're like, dude, you got to do it. You got to do Not Justin, and it would be great. So got to give credit to them.
Thanks to Dre and thanks to the players for playing along. I mean, it's a fun, I think it's great. Players get a chance to express their personality, and
one weekend out of 162 games is not
Let
bad.
your hair down a little bit, right?
Why not? Why not? That's exactly right. You can wear shoes of any color without getting fined now.
Well, we'll be back with tonight's first pitch between the Indians and the Kansas City Royals coming up next. Come in with a record of 38-90. That means they are just a half game better than the Baltimore Orioles for the worst record in all of baseball. For Kansas City, though, to say the bottom has fallen out would be an understatement. They've lost 5 in a row, 8 of 10, and 17 of their last 21 games.
And they were officially eliminated yesterday out of the race. So that's it. I mean, they have you know, just playing a lot of the young kids and what they're going to look for next year. And you know what? Hard to believe that 3 years ago these guys were world champions.
But it also is, and you can appreciate this. All right, on one hand you say, well, you got to beat these guys. On the other hand, they are playing as free and loose as any opponent. Sometimes it can be a dangerous opponent if you don't come out and attack this like you would any other major league opponent.
There's no doubt about it, because you know what? They're not supposed to win. And if they do, you're terrible. When you're a good team, that's how it goes in the, you know, the late August and into September. You got to go out there, and I look at it this way. They're all major league teams, and you go out and you try to win the series. So you win the first game and move on from that one, and you don't worry about it.
Kansas City takes the field behind Salvador Perez. And the Kansas City Royals and their right-handed starter, Brad Keller. What do you have on this man?
Well, Brad Keller, he'll be the Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. And I'll tell you what, this guy started in the bullpen this year. He'll make his 15th start and his 36th appearance. This will be his 3rd appearance against the Indians. Now, after he pitched 3 shutout innings against the Indians the last time he faced them, he got the win in that ball game. He ended up going into the rotation. He has a very good arm. He cannot throw the ball straight. It moves every which way. He aims for it down the middle, and let's see which way it goes. So this will be his first start, and he's 1-0 against the Tribe this year.
All right, Francisco Lindor will lead it off for Cleveland. Michael Brantley in the 2-hole. Jose Ramirez will bat 3rd. Then it's Edwin Yonder and Melky in the middle. Jason Kipnis, Yan Gomes, Greg Allen rounded out. The Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive Insurance.
And let's check out that Kansas City defense. They're rated number 2 in the league, but they have tossed it around a little bit lately. It'll be Gordon in left field. Phillips is in center. Bonifacio over in right. It'll be Dozier at 3rd. Mondesi is at shortstop. Merrifield is at 2nd. Duda at 1st, and Perez doing the catching.
Ramon DeJesus has the plate. Stu Shearwater at 1st. Crew chief Gary Cedarstrom at 2nd. Eric Cooper is down at 3rd. Before tonight's first pitch, let's go down to Andre Knott with a word on Lindor's shoes.
Yes, we know from being around Frankie the last couple of years, he's into fashion and he likes making a statement. The bat, it's a Puerto Rican bat, as you can see his bat, but his shoes, he wants to make a little bit of an impact. He knows this is a fun weekend, but he says for the cleats, I personally always want to impact people by putting messages when I can. So this year he went with hashtags on it. It's an impactful cleat, and I'm looking forward to letting the world know that I am with them. Some of the hashtags on there are like no bullying. He also had a shout out to the Parkland, the high school that had the shooting earlier this year. He just said this is his way of letting people know that he's caring and thinking about other issues that are going on around America.
Thank you, Andre, and we are ready for baseball. It's Mr. Smile steps in to lead it off for Cleveland.
It almost looks like a race car. He's got so many logos on his, between the socks and the sleeves and the jersey and the shoes.
And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Now the 0-1, and Lindor pops this back out of play. Quickly 0-2 the count.
Keller just 23 years old, and he has a .332 ERA, which ranks 2nd among major league rookies this year with at least 100 innings of work. They're really high on this young man.
Lindor takes it's in the dirt. Frankie comes in .288 batting average, 29 homers. That's 8th best in the American League. 76 driven in. He leads the league with 40 doubles. We gave you his career numbers against Kansas City at the top of the show. He and his teammate Jose Ramirez were, for the most part, held in check in the 4 games in Boston. Fouled out of play. Our game time temperature is 88 degrees, but with the humidity and the heat index, it feels like 96 here at game time tonight. Whew. Lindor staying alive.
Speaking of 96, that was the pitch he just fouled off.
Another 2-2 pitch is fouled away. Once again, the 2-2 is fouled away.
Boy, this is a tough at bat. It's a tough out for Keller right now. Frankie fouling him all over.
9th pitch of the at bat. And Lindor shoots it right back up the middle. So Frankie is aboard to start the night here in Kansas City.
That's a terrific way to start your first at bat.
Storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Indians are looking to maintain Not necessarily the momentum, because they did lose the last two, but they were playing good baseball going into that series. You don't want to suffer any kind of a letdown. And these two guys, Frankie and Jose Ramirez, who is in the on-deck circle, they are the tone setters. Michael Brantley, he strikes a pretty good chord himself when it comes to setting the tone. Brantley, 9th in the American League in batting average. On the year, he is at .297 with 13 runs driven in against Kansas City. And the Indians have won 7 of those 9 games head-to-head, including all 3 earlier this year here in Kansas City. Out of play to the left.
He has had a very good month of August. It'll be coming to a close in about 1 more week.
The 0-1. Lifted high and foul, out of play to the left. Mike Swanson, the venerable director of communications and broadcasting for the Kansas City Royals, was reminding us before the game today that last year when Kansas City came to Cleveland for Players Weekend, the Royals failed to score a run for the entire weekend.
Yeah. Yes, they did, and I forgot about that.
I did too.
So I don't think they wanted to put those jerseys out for those guys this weekend.
Brantley, like Lindor, putting up a pretty good fight here.
Well, I said that when you talk about Brad Keller, his ball moves all over the place. So, you know, he was talking with his pitch coach. He says, just throw it down the middle, and sometimes it cuts, sometimes it sinks. And he mixes in a slider to go with his changeup. But that's why you might see a lot of foul balls. It's tough to center on it.
And Brantley fouls it off.
Man, there's been a lot for just the 2 hitters going up there so far. Out of the 13 pitches thrown, he's thrown 11 strikes.
Well, we've seen what, 96?
Yeah.
And 85, so he's got good separation as well.
How about that? Out of the 13 total pitches, 9 foul balls. Wow.
And Brantley lifts one high and foul, and again it's out of play. I guess I'm a little surprised at this point that we haven't seen Perez, you know, set up that target high, like let's try to rate, or maybe go really off the plate to see if he can get somebody to chase.
Well, it's an 0-2 count, and has been.
Low throw dug out by O'Hearn, who's at first base. Ryan O'Hearn is playing at first. Originally, he was scheduled to be the DH, and Lucas Duda was supposed to play first, but they have flip-flopped. And Brantley is called out on strikes. So after all those foul balls, he finally sneaks one by an Indians hitter.
Yes, he does, and that's right at the knees. Good pitch on our Nissan pitch tracker, 94. There it was. Michael took it. He goes down, strikeout victim number 1.
That'll bring up Jose Ramirez. Another throw over. Lindor, 9th in the American League with 19 stolen bases. Bounced in front of the plate, and Perez able to block it to keep Lindor at first.
He did a nice job of smothering that ball to keep it out in front. That big body he has, it's tough to get a ball by him. They bounce in the dirt. He's such a big target.
And an off-speed pitch in there. Jose Ramirez just 2 for his last 14. That covers the Red Sox series. But if you think it was just the Red Sox pitching, it's just, I think, one of those points in the season where maybe he's just not feeling great. He's 4 for his last 27. That covers his last 8 games.
Yeah, he felt his rhythm wasn't right on. A little off, and it was getting closer.
Checks, it's low, 3-1. Jose Ramirez wearing his Players Weekend jersey with the name Enriquito on the back, paying tribute to his father. His name is Enrique. Up and away, ball 4, and now the Indians have 2 on with 1 out.
Well, now this is where Keller has to go and make some pitches right now, because Lindor had the single, and now they walk Ramirez. And you know why? Because they have done a lot of damage to the Royals this year when you think about it. When you look at Lindor, he leads all players 17 home runs and 45 RBIs in the Central this season. Ramirez is second with 16. And this guy has 41 RBIs against the Central, and the Indians have dominated 37-17 on the year.
Up high, ball 1. Edwin is 4th in the American League with 85 runs batted in on the year. So as you pointed out, almost half of those have come against the Central, which makes sense. Half the games you play over the season are in the division, just about. The 1-0. Rip foul.
Heads up, Sarby.
Turned that one around.
Sure did.
Royals have the shift on. He hits it on the ground. It's a pretty good chance he's a dead pull hitter. It's in the air, foul and out of play.
You know, you were talking about the games that we're playing, and have most of them against the Central Division. The only games we have left are the Tampa, Toronto, and 3 Boston games left. We go 4 to Toronto, 3 with Boston, and then we've got, what, 6 with Tampa.
The 1-2. It's in the dirt.
Keller is a ground ball pitcher. 57% of his balls are hit on the ground. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He's only given up 5 on the year out of 100 innings. That's pretty good.
Check, did he go the appeal? He did, says the first base umpire, Stu Sherwater. And that's a big strikeout for Brad Keller. 2 down in the inning.
Don't ask if you don't want to know. Edwin asked him. Here he goes. Oh, did I? Yes, you did.
So with 2 down, Yonder Alonso. Yonder Alonso.
Is that his new name?
Yonder Alonso. He's Mr. 305. Paying tribute to his home down in Miami. Swing and a miss. If you missed the very top of our telecast, He told Andre he had to get permission from Pitbull to be able to put that on the back of his jersey, Mr. 305. Popped up back of the plate and just beyond the reach of Salvador Perez. There he is, Mr. 305, and he said he's met Pitbull a few times. He's gotten to know him a little bit, so he was granted the permission to use that moniker. Everything's trademarked nowadays. Yeah. Lindor at second base, Ramirez at first with 2 down. And it's in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I know one thing. Keller's having to work hard to get through this inning.
Is he ever?
Yeah, he's at 28 pitches.
And this is sort of that domino effect, Arch, when you're a team that's rebuilding. You've got young pitchers, and because of the pitch counts like this, they can't get deeper into games.
5 innings.
You get into the middle part of that bullpen, which isn't as beefed up as it used to be, and that's where the Royals have had a lot of problems. The 1-2. And down goes Alonso. So the Indians threaten, but they do not score. Keller allows a hit and a walk, but strikes out 3. Now Kansas City is coming to bat.
He is the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. Gleb is 9-7, and he's won his last 2 games. He's pitched very well. His last start against Baltimore, 6 innings, 7 hits, did not allow a run, punched out 7. He's 1-0 in 2 starts against KC this year and 4-0 in his career.
Ned Yost starting 9. Whit Merrifield, he's having a great year. Alex Gordon in the 2-hole. Salvador Perez is third. Then Lucas Duda, Jorge Bonifacio, and Ryan O'Hearn. Hunter Dozier, Brett Phillips, and Adalberto Mondesi batting 9th. A little bit of a different looking ball club for Kansas City than what we've been used to seeing. Merrifield, Gordon, Perez, the 3 holdover Royal regulars, if you will. Whit Merrifield comes in riding a 12-game hitting streak, and that has moved him up to 8th in the American League in batting average.
This guy is a really good player. He can play all over the field. He's playing second base tonight. He can play the outfield. He can steal bases. He's got 33 doubles, 28 steals, hitting over 300. Just a solid baseball player.
You know, I know that as a baseball player, in order to have any sort of success, that you have to kind of separate yourself from everything that you have no control over and only worry about what you can do while you're at the plate and when you're in the field defensively. But it says something about a man who can have a fantastic season like Merrifield is having while mired in a team situation that could be historic when it's all said and done.
It's not that easy to do. You're right, because you know other teams and things, they can pitch around him a little bit.
That's
but
true.
He's got to continue to go out there and stay focused. He's a hard worker. And Kansas City, I'm sure a lot of teams wanted him come trading deadline and things like that. And they talked to Dayton Moore about it. He says,
no way.
He's a Royal. You're not getting this guy. And I don't blame him.
Alex Gordon looks at a pitch low and away, and that's not the way Mike Clevenger wants to start. Walking the leadoff man. Now Alex Gordon coming off a 3-hit performance last night in Tampa. Prior to that, though, he had gone 5 for his last 43. And when you combine slumps like that with the lack of pitching depth that the Royals have, that's how you end up in a spot like this where you're 38 and 90. Just too many holes to overcome. This is blooped, and this is trouble. That's going to get down for a base hit. Merrifield will have to stop at second. And the Royals have their first 2 men aboard.
Remember, this Kansas City outfield, you're going to play a little bit deeper because it's very spacious. And you will see a lot of balls like this drop in there for base hits. It got a little down on his trademark. He didn't hit it that well. No chance for Cabrera. It falls in. Well, they will get the first inning started with the first 2 aboard.
And now Salvador Perez. An aggressive swinger. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back out of play. Perez has grounded into a team-leading 18 double plays on the year.
I was going to say it's a good chance if you can get him to hit it on the ground and at one of your guys, you can turn it easily.
Just missed in off the plate.
Right now, Clev's got to find that fastball command, and it's been hit or miss for him recently.
Curveball missed inside. Swung on and missed. That was a good slow hook. And El Nino could not help himself.
Well, that's, I think, the curveball because there's a little slower than his slider, and you can see the movement. And he started off in a very good spot down around the knees. And by the time he got to home plate, it was out of the hitting area. Didn't chase that one, though.
Now a full count. First inning, no score here in Kansas City. And the runners are not going, and the 3-2 is hammered. High and deep and goodbye. 3 batters in. It's 3-0 Kansas City.
Drove that ball deep into right center field. He got the fastball out over the plate. Perez gets his 22nd home run. And just watch the location of this pitch. They wanted to go in. He left it down and out over the plate. And he just smoked it. Fastball command right now is not good for Mike Clevenger. That goes off the Pepsi sign right there in the fountains.
So Kansas City jumps out to an early lead. And Lucas Duda takes ball one. Clevenger has now given up more runs in the first inning tonight than he has in his last 2 starts combined, and as many as his last 3 starts combined.
Let's check out the Indians defense, brought to you by Chrysler. It'll be Brantley in left, Allen in center, Cabrera over in right. Ramirez is at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis at second, Alonso at first, and Gomes doing the catching.
Jorge Bonifacio. Back out of play. Bonifacio just 3 for 11 against the Indians this year, and 1 run batted in. Missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. And a fastball misses. 3-1. Boy, he is all over the place here in the outset.
He gets one in the zone there, but his arm slotter's release point is not on point right now. He's searching for it.
Ground ball to third. Jose Ramirez is there and throws him out. 2 down. That'll bring up Ryan O'Hearn. O'Hearn made his major league debut July 31st. And he hit a home run in his debut off former Kansas City pitcher James Shields. The only other Royals to do that, Clint Hurdle back in 1977 and Mark Quinn in 99. Two balls and a strike. So far, Ryan O'Hearn in his 16 games with the big league club has 11 hits. 5 of those 11 hits have been home runs. Out of play. And of those 16 games, only 3 have been played in which he has not struck out. So kind of a typical of a big left-handed slugger. He will make you pay for mistakes, but he has holes, and you can get him to swing and miss a lot.
Well, that's the thing. You saw that swing right there. A typical left-hander had that uppercut and rolled over on that one. That's, you know, today's hitter. You know, they have power. The ball can jump off their bat, but they have holes. And if you want to hit the ball in the air and you want to beat your shifts like a lot of teams or kids believe now, you're going to strike out a lot. Now, if that's good, you know, if you can handle that and your skipper likes it, that's fine. But it also takes a young hitter a while to get used to the big league level and the pitching, because it's so much more consistent up here than it is in the minor leagues. But they're going to have to play it out. They're going to get a look at a lot of their minor league kids and what they have to offer.
Well, Clevenger will now make more pitches than his counterpart, Brad Keller, did in the top of the inning. This will be his 30th of the inning.
Yeah, both these pitchers have really struggled in the first.
Clevenger strikes him out to end the inning, but not before Salvador Perez goes deep. It was a walk, a bloop, and a blast. And it's 3-0 Kansas City. Inning it will be 6, 7, and 8 hitters for Cleveland. Melky Cabrera facing his former team for the first time this year. In his career, when he has faced Kansas City, he has batted .278 with 7 homers and 46 runs batted in. Ground ball right at the shortstop. Mondesi. 1 down. Stat of the game tonight is brought to you by Buick. In the first game of a series this year, the Indians are right at the break-even mark. But when they win the first game, that usually bodes well.
Well, they're going to need about 5 runs today if they can keep it down the rest of the way, and this is how we started the road trip, down 3-0. But you're gonna now, if you're Clevenger, you're gonna have to put zeros on the board and let your offense get to work. Plenty of game to go.
That's way outside, full count. Kipnis this year has really been held in check by Kansas City. They have held him to 1 hit in 25 at bats. Pulls that foul.
Well, that's doing a number, and if you don't make an adjustment, they're going to continue to pitch the way they have been all season long.
You know, that would be interesting to know. You just brought up a good point. 3-2 offering. You know, when they have their scouting reports,
right,
do they go by what their scouts have seen recently if they're advancing the Indians, or do they go by what they've done already this year?
I think their pitching coach will go back and he'll look at the numbers and the hitters, and you know, there's a combination of both. You could go through same, hey, this is what he's been doing recently, you know, what he's been hitting, but we've had success doing it this way. Let's stay with our pattern.
Kipnis sends a liner to center, but it's right at Phillips. 2 down.
Enhance your game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Yan Gomes to the dish. Gomes having a really good month of August in which he's batted .333 in 13 games. Half dozen runs batted in. Look at that bat. That's right out of Brazil right there with those colors on it. Huh? Looks like one of the Brazilian soccer uniforms. 0-2 the count. Up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. And Gomes is out on strike. So the Indians are foiled by Brad Keller for the 2nd time. 3-0 Royals, middle of the 2nd inning.
On Friday, as the Indians will host the Tampa Bay Rays. Fans 21 and over, you get to the game early and enjoy $2 domestic beers. That'll be out into the district. Stay after the game and have a fireworks display. Get your tickets at Indians.com or use the Ballpark app.
Hunter Dozier will lead off for Kansas City in the 2nd inning. Pitch in there for a strike.
Let's see if Clef settled down and able to command his fastball this inning. Came out with a 30 pitch first inning. Well, there you go, coming right back out. 0-2 count.
Did he go? I think he did. And they appeal, and the umpire agrees. Stu Sherwater raising the right hand. Second strikeout for Clevenger. I mean, the pitch looked like it was right down the middle.
Exactly. It started at him and it comes down. That was a strike to begin with, even though it wasn't called.
So here's Brett Phillips.
We saw Brett Phillips in Milwaukee earlier this year when he played against the Indians. He was an outfielder. He came over from the Brewers.
Whether it's getting used to his new environment, the new league, or just summer struggles, he has had a tough go of it at the plate. 0 for his last 17 and 3 for his last 30.
Let's keep the pitch elevated, just like he did. He has a tough time laying off this pitch, and he swings at it all the time until he lays off of it. Well, he just did get a piece, but Clevenger stayed right there. That's okay. There's not much he can do with it. I mean, the ball jumps off his bat. He has some pop, but he likes it down.
Boy, it really slowed the hook down, but he got a piece of it. It remains 1-2. There is a called third strike on a fastball that was just blistered right past him. And it's 3 strikeouts in a row for Clevenger. Take a look at our Thrive inside the numbers on the road in the American League. Chris Sale has a 1.99 ERA. Justin Verlander 2.09. The injured Trevor Bauer at 2.56, and then Mike Clevenger at 2.75. Though that's taken a hit here with the 3 runs surrendered in the first.
Well, it was one pitch that he made a mistake onto the wrong hitter, so you just move along and you just come right back and settle in.
Adalberto Mondesi, an exciting young player that the Kansas City Royals have high hopes for. He is a shortstop. He has tremendous speed, good range, good arm defensively. It's a matter of he's still a young player, and you need time and experience.
Time, experience, and you need your health. Can he stay on the field? He had some hamstring issues the last 3 or 4 days.
He is the son of former big leaguer Raul Mondesi. In fact, he used to be known primarily as Raul Mondesi Jr., but prefers to go by Adalberto, trying to carve out his own path. Strike 3 call. So Mike Clevenger, something clicked. He's retired 6 in a row, and the last 4 by strikeout.
savings and access to Tribe Rewards. Today's Tribe Rewards code is Backstop. Visit Indians.com for complete details.
We go to the third inning, and Greg Allen will lead off for the Indians. Ball is in the dirt. Greg Allen, over his last 9 games, has batted .400. And what's really impressive in those last 9 games, he has struck out twice.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looks like he really is commanding the strike zone much better, taking pitches, and he's been taking a lot of close pitches that have been called balls, so he is he's learning the strike zone very well. His hitting streak stopped, and then he came right back and got 2 hits in yesterday's ball game. Had a stolen base, which the Indians didn't do much. Had a great series defensively in Boston.
Those last 16 games, 22 hits and 11 runs scored. G-Rag.
There it is.
And he bloops one into right center field for a base hit.
That was the slow curveball that he was able to keep his hands back on nicely.
Second hit of the night for Cleveland.
Look at that. Good breaking ball down. You see, his stance is so wide up there, Matty. You know, the momentum doesn't carry him out front, so it's easier for him to keep his hands back because he doesn't stride. He just gets those hands and had a good look at it.
Well, you've got Francisco Lindor now with Allen aboard at first. See if there's any action going here.
Rick, you're dead on why Greg Allen has had some success recently. They have spread him out a little bit, and the one thing Tito has also said is that when he hits the ball the other way now, it's not just pop-ups. They're getting him to drive the ball the other way and then drive it into the gaps when he can.
And that keeps his hands back because, you know, his body doesn't move forward where you lose a lot of that bat speed. And, yeah, he's got a good thing going in the batter's box right now. Looks good. And that's what I like about it. He knows he's not going to be a power guy or anything, although he did hit a home run. But, you know, you get on base. That's his job.
Yeah, so you sacrifice a little power, but your batting average is up. Your on-base percentage goes up.
You know what? He's stolen 12 out of 13 bases. That's his job. That would be a beautiful position for him. 9th, hitting behind Lindor. We say that about a lot of guys. If you're a guy that you can put the ball in play, you can contact hitter, get on base, and he has good speed.
Not running. Time was actually called.
Well, the umpire walked out for behind home plate. I'm sure he heard Lindor call it. But pitchers, that's what they try to do. Hold the baseball with a base stealer out there a little bit longer than normal.
Greg Allen is off. Perez has a great arm, and safe is the call.
He got the hand in, and you know what? Perez's throw was right there, but I don't know if Mondesi got that ball and tagged him, and he snuck his hand in there. Watch the left hand sneak in. Watch the left hand go. I thought he was going to be out because Perez made a beautiful throw. Watch the left hand. By the time, you see, he tagged the ground.
Yes, he did.
He didn't get the arm. The same thing we saw in Boston.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be safe. I don't think they're going to look at it, to be honest with you.
Ned Yost is still holding and says no thank you.
Yep.
So give Greg Allen his 13th steal out of 14 tries.
He looked dead to rights, but no siree. 102nd stolen base for the Indians. And number 13 for Greg.
And now Lindor with a 2-0 count. Sends one high in the air to left. Pretty deep. Backpedaling is Gordon. He's got a great arm, though. And Greg's going for third. Here's the throw, and it is not in time. Greg Allen moving up from second to third. And the Indians have a runner 90 feet away with 1 out.
I'll tell you what, that's taking a chance there with the Gold Glover in left field, who has a very good arm, but I credit him. Good hustle. He went back, and I know this is a big ballpark, There's Frankie going the other way right there. Now it's going to make Frankie feel good when this play is over with. He felt he should have maybe pulled the ball or done anything. Well, speed gets it done. And look at him, head down. He's not thinking of anything but third base. Well done. Now Lindor feels okay about himself for making an out.
So Michael Brantley to the plate. And he takes a ball that just missed inside. Brantley called out on strikes his first time up, and that was the first strikeout in his last 31 plate appearances. He had gone 30 straight without a strikeout.
Well, we know he can get on a roll like that. $19 out of 26 times he's been able to get that runner in. 73%, and it only takes a ground ball. Not going to take you a hit. You can roll over on one here and you get a run home. Nice take on the changeup.
Sometimes in a situation like this, you'll see a home run because of what you just said. You're not trying to do too much. You're just trying to maybe get a ball you can pull, and the next thing you know, you take that nice easy approach.
Just look for a good pitch to hit. There it is.
Brantley shoots it the other way to left field, and Greg Allen will trot home from third. The Indians are on the boards. Their second hit of the inning and Brantley's 69th run batted in of the year.
Yeah, they can thank Greg Allen for that one. Stealing second, hustling his way to third, and now the Indians are on the board. 69th ribby for Brantley.
Jose Ramirez coming to the plate. We'll go down to Andre.
You know, yesterday I reported when we were in Boston that Jose had told me he just felt like his timing was off a tad. I brought this up to Terry Francona before the game, and he says, yeah, he may be off a click. He says the thing that stood out to him in Boston was that a few fastballs that he usually doesn't let go by, he let go by. And he said maybe that is because he's been seeing so many off-speed pitches. And then Tito said, but he's the last guy I'm worried about right now at the plate.
Ground ball to Merrifield. There's one. Back to first. Not in time. 2 down in the inning. And it will bring up Edwin. Whit Merrifield able to get that ball to Mondesi.
Tough double play to turn when you're playing so deep and over in the pull side of second base. The long throw to your shortstop and then another throw coming back with Ramirez, who you know always hustles down the line.
Yeah, and as a left-handed hitter, he's got just enough of a head start where they're not going to get him. Here's Edwin, now struck out his first time up. And for Encarnacion, it was a bitter strikeout because you had first and second and only one out. And he checked his swing. He thought he had checked it in time. The first base umpire on the appeal, which he appealed for, said he went too far. That was the second out of the inning, and then Yonder Alonso struck out, and the Indians failed to score. And then Kansas City came back in the bottom of the first. Walk, bloop, blast, 3-0, just like that. Swung and missed it. A pitch way off the plate.
See how that ball moved and took off, and that's why you see it and you don't see the spin on it. And that thing, he just has a hard time throwing the ball straight. And that's a 2-0 count where a good hitter is just going to spin on it and look for his home run pitch.
That fastball was up. Encarnacion wearing the name Rivera on the back of his jersey, his mother's maiden name. And another foul ball as he Bounced that one off of his left foot. Two down here in the third. Indians are on the board. They're down 3-1. Jose Ramirez, 28 stolen bases on the year. Edwin takes it's just off the plate. Full count.
Well, now, Jose, you can go ahead and get yourself a running start.
He is off, and the 3-2 is hit to short, and Mondesi throws him out to end the inning. Greg Allen with a base hit, a stolen base, moves up on a sac fly and comes home on a base hit. 3-1 Kansas City. Friday night. Stay tuned later in the game for our Miller Lite Hold True moment. Bottom of the third inning here in Kansas City, and it will be the top of the order for the Royals. Whit Merrifield will lead it off. He walked and scored in the first. Swings at the first pitch and hits a towering drive to deep left field. Back is Brantley and makes the catch. About a stride or two in front of that wall.
Big ball yard.
Yes,
I'll tell you what, he had some carry to it, though.
Now, Merrifield, the one thing, he's not a big power guy. He's only hit 9 home runs on the year.
Yeah.
But off the bat, that looked like, uh-oh, that might have a chance.
Yeah, I think Michael's looking up there. It might have been tough to see for a little bit, too, because that was way high up. He just got underneath it a little bit. He's more of a line drive hitter.
Yeah, he's one of those guys we're used to seeing him hit the ball to the right center field gap.
Yeah, you do him a favor. If you spin the ball and you hang it, he can hurt you for doubles and triples another way.
Alex Gordon looped the ball into right field his first time up.
Well, that's exactly right. You said it in the first inning. It was a walk, a bloop, and a blast. And before you know it, Club was down 3 runs. He just got sucker punched in that first inning. But he came back out, and he got the last 3 outs, and he struck out the side in the second. He gets an out on the first pitch here, which is very good. You could use a couple of nice innings now after a 30-pitch first.
Gordon goes fishing, and he goes down. 5 strikeouts for Clevenger. The Salvador Perez home run in the first inning. Another look courtesy of StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
108.8 off the bat. That's 454 the other way. That's a massive, and it goes to show you the power of this guy. But that's down, and he shot it the other way. But you know, in that first inning, he was searching for fastball command, and that was a 3-2 pitch. That should stay up long enough.
Boy, did he blow through this inning in a hurry. 9 in a row retired by Clevenger. 3-1 Kansas City. To see some amazing vehicles at the Cars in Cleveland Spectacular, presented by the Bernie Marino Companies, sponsored by A.B. Bernstein. There will be music, food, and activities for the whole family from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss it. Mr. 305 going to lead it off for the Indians here in the fourth. Yonder Alonso struck out to end the first inning. 6 for 29 this year against KC pitching with a homer. How about Tampa Bay tonight?
Yeah, they're putting a thumping on Boston, aren't they?
10-3 Rays over the Sox in the sixth inning. These Royals suffered a tough one last night down in Tampa to wrap up that series there. Their fifth straight loss. Game ended on a hard smash to first. Throw came home, and it short hop Salvador Perez. He couldn't quite come up with it cleanly, and the winning run scored for Tampa. The 2-2 and a ground ball foul. This is how it ended for the Royals. Infield in, everything goes
routine.
right, but the
Short
throw is a little low.
boy. And this is now normally a very good defensive team, but when he couldn't come up with the ball, they were swept in that 4-game series by Tampa.
Melky Cabrera waiting on deck. You know, looking at that throw from first. That's the second time I had a chance to see it. It didn't really look like that bad of a throw. Yonder Alonso sends one high in the air, deep right field. Bonifacio's out of room. It's out of here. Alonso's 21st home run of the season cuts the gap to a single run. It's now 3-2. And Mr. 305 has himself a happy trot around the bases.
That's only the 6th home run given up by Keller this year. And he's going to give it away. It's a breaking ball away. It didn't get in. You see where Perez was sitting, but it stayed up, and he likes that ball away. Give him some extension. You speed up his bat head, and he hit it into the bullpen. His 21st homer.
Now Melky Cabrera, who grounded out his first time up. And the Milkman takes a strike.
Yeah, for Keller, he had a streak of 63 1/3 homerless innings this year from April 25th through July 22nd. And he was coming out of the bullpen early. But that covered over 7 starts, and then his time coming out of the bullpen. Tough to elevate the ball. Well, he hung a slider or a breaking ball, and he hit it.
The first baseman O'Hearn takes it. Melky Cabrera is retired. 1 down. Another look at the long ball by Alonso.
Just floats into that bullpen.
Yeah. Finishing the thought on that throw home that ended the game for Kansas City last night down at Tampa. You've said it before, and we've seen catchers make some unbelievable plays behind the plate where they pick a ball in the dirt and you don't even know how and how they do it. But when that throw comes from first base, this is not a regular glove. That first baseman's mitt, it's just harder to get some of those throws.
Did you see where his foot was? He was acting like a first base, and that left foot went out, and that glove went down, and it short hopped in the heel of it. And that's not like a regular fielder's glove. That it's a much thicker padding in that catcher's glove. So you expect him to make the catch because it looked right, but that's not fair to the catchers.
Rolls over on it, and O'Hearn takes it himself again.
That's why when you see throws from the outfield, if you give your catcher a one-hop throw where you can get it up here, the minute you start having them short hop throws, they have the equipment, the mask on, it's not good.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, till you're out there and you're the first baseman with the game on the line and you've got to make that throw, it might look easy, but to make that play, first baseman's got to make it better. You got to hit your catcher in the chest with that throw.
Exactly. He rushed it. That's what I'm thinking. You panic a little bit. You got to throw it in there. It should be a night you just get the one out first.
Yan Gomes goes down, digs one out, hits it deep left field. We are off the wall. And Gomes is going to head sliding into second base with a 2-out double. Boy, he just missed hitting one out of here and tying it up.
And again, he gets another breaking ball down in the zone, and he's been hammering the baseball when you throw it down. He hasn't been missing his pitch. His strength is down. There's another breaking ball. He left middle of the plate. Well, that's going to be to the strength of Yan Gomes, and you can see it missed by about a foot or two.
It wasn't quite as low as the home run he hit in Boston, where he went down and golfed one out of here, and that ball almost hit the ground at Fenway.
You got something going on in their bullpen? There's something going on.
The door's open.
I don't know what's happening. They were all waving.
It's a flood.
Oh, okay.
It's all over the warning track.
Fountains are leaking. Look at that.
Ruh-roh.
That's what's going on. Okay, now I can see it. There it is. We have a flood on the field.
A pipe must have burst.
Exactly. Maybe Alonso's ball hit a pipe. They're trying to find out where it's coming from. Someone call the plumber.
Yonder Alonso's home run ball blew a hole in the dam.
Go to the main. Shut it off.
I wouldn't be crawling in there. No way, no how.
Come on. Tough guy.
know, we mentioned this the last time we were here in Kansas City. That used to be the opposing team's bullpen.
Right.
When they changed pitching coaches this year, he flip-flopped them. He wanted his relievers closer to him.
So, Andre, are you insinuating that there is some sort of sabotage going on right now at the hands of the Royals?
All I'm going to say is I was told before the game by some people down here that Salvi Perez has basically made it quite clear they want to switch back to the other side next year.
Really?
They don't like, the players don't like the setup when his son is out. We'll see this on Sunday. The sun is over there in right field.
Cooks him.
And Salvi, I think, has put the word out. That's not our bullpen. We don't like that bullpen.
Okay, well then it'll get changed themselves.
This is the straw that breaks the camel's back right here.
This is going to be the end of it.
Yeah, then our guys could be swimming in there now.
And I got to tell you, all our pitchers, they prefer the one they're in right now as well. So no one likes.
Tell them don't get used to it at the end of the season, and this is where we end it.
That's what I told Otero earlier tonight. He says, you know what? It does make a big difference being out in right field and left field in this park when it's hot out here.
We are in a waterfall delay here in Kansas City with a runner at second and 2 down as they try to squeegee the excess water on the warning track.
Well, I knew something was weird. I saw everybody standing up against the fence with their arms raised.
Just wonder if they've been able to stop the flow.
Well, that's the question. Can you turn it off? Is it possible?
Looks like maybe they have. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Jose Abreu goes down for the White Sox. Marcell Ozuna, he's been having a good year for St. Louis. And that could be troublesome for a Cardinals team that's closed the gap to 3 games on the Cubs in the NL Central, though Chicago has lost Addison Russell. And Aroldis Chapman, it almost seems like he and Andrew Miller have similar knee injuries.
Matty, Rick, I was going to say, when we saw the Yankees, that was right before the All-Star break, right? Yeah. The one thing that Andrew Miller told me in talking to Chapman, because they were former teammates, is they kind of have it on the opposite sides. Andrew Miller's knee was bothering him in the front. In the back of Chapman's leg is where he's having the problem. Behind the kneecap is where he's having that problem. And it's been a problem he's been dealing with since early July, maybe mid-June, and Andrew thinks it's something that's going to bother him because, like Andrew, it's on his landing leg as well.
But right now, crew chief Gary Cederstrom is bringing Ned Yost and Terry Francona together.
They haven't turned anything off yet. Look at that.
I wonder if this is something where they're saying, look, if they can't get this stopped, I mean, Arch,
that may be coming from the fountains.
Arch, is this enough to stop a game, though? I mean, as far as
I think so. If they can't keep that from running onto the field, I would think yes. You see it coming down onto the padding. I mean,
wouldn't be a whole lot of fun trying to play right field if that continues throughout the night.
No, you can't do that. That's dangerous.
It is.
I mean, because it's going to come out to the grass. It looks like Niagara Falls.
Can't they just turn that off?
I guess not.
Can't somebody just turn a valve somewhere and shut the waterworks off? Got to be a way to. Although, although what's happening might not have anything to do with that. There may be just something that's busted.
Could be a pipe.
Yeah, something might have just.
Look at that.
Wow.
No. This is because that's their bullpen now. They don't have enough drains. There's the drain right over there where that kid's bill of the cap is, and that's not big enough to get all that water in it that's coming out there. They'd have to stay on the field while we're playing. Look at it coming out of that fence. Well, why don't we take a break and go for a swim, and then we'll come back and find out.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
I'll watch. We'll be right back to Kansas City. because of a rainstorm. This is just because of some unforeseen break in the waterworks here in Kansas City. The umpires have gone out to investigate the situation, and maybe we'll have some clarity. They have taken the teams off the field as we continue to wait things out here in Kansas City.
It's absolutely crazy.
Just when you think you've seen it all. Time now for an in-game update. Let's go back to Cleveland. Hopefully Al Pulaski's staying dry. Roll up those pant legs, Al, just in case. Thanks, Al.
Al, I'm inviting you out to Kansas City to go for a swim in my pool.
Look at Gary Cedarstrom. He's got his head.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to figure something out.
You know, what's going on here, guys?
Well, it's not slowing down.
Something's broke.
Yeah, something is broke.
Well, let's see if maybe yonder's home run ball did break something.
I think it did. I didn't think it was hit hard enough, but watch. It's going to land right in that area where it comes in, right into the corner. And now,
that's it. It's got to. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's underneath that fence, and
That's
you know what?
funny,
It's underneath those fountains, so something's got to be wrong with the
He
fountain.
hit his ball right in that area, and 3 batters later, we've got this. That's incredible. Meanwhile, the players just waiting to see what's going to happen here.
Absolutely, nothing you can do. Those guys keep squeegeeing that stuff, but it still keeps right on coming until they get it shut off. That's we're going to be doing this all night long.
You know, you always hear that saying like shoveling against the tide or something like that. I mean, swimming. That's what this has got to be like. You keep squeegeeing it out, but it just keeps rolling in there.
That's okay. They're getting some of it out, and it's coming right back in.
All right, here come the umpires.
Well, they better call a plumber. Find the main and turn it off. If you can't, we're going to be going home. Look at, he's looking for answers. They said that they're going to get double overtime if they come out on a Friday night. Okay, the umpire's trying to get some clarity.
Remember One Day at a Time? It's called Schneider. He'd be all over this.
God. I've never been fountained out.
Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, is on the horn. No idea who he's talking to, but hopefully it is a plumber.
Well, it is not stopping. Now you see they have that the bags of stuff out there. You can put it down, but if the water's still coming, boys, it's not going to help.
I think they're doing everything. They're just trying to.
Yeah.
What else can we do? What else can we try? Thank you very much.
They're preparing for the hurricane.
This is about as bizarre a scenario as I think I've seen. It's beautiful night, warm, humid, no rain anywhere in the area.
Well, they homered, and Alonso homered to lead off this inning. Could make it a 3-2 game. Then they got the 2 outs. Then Gomes hits a double off the wall, and people are sort of like going, hey, wait a minute. Now it's joke time. That's got to be the head's groundkeeper down there he's talking to. I think that's out of everybody's control, Matty.
Well, they're doing the best job they can, but until somebody figures out a way to either shut off the water or fix the problem, we're just chasing our tail. So we'll take a timeout. The chances of something being resolved in the next 2 minutes are very remote, but we'll see what happens. Or stopped the source of the water draining because they're now applying, you know, what they would throw down
Diamond
at the
dust.
end, yeah, at the end of a rain delay. The water's still coming out though, so I don't know. I don't know how much they can.
I don't think they know. And I saw Ned Yost starting to walk out there to try and get an idea for himself. There he is. He's talking to the groundskeeper, and you know, he's going to give him what he knows, but it doesn't seem to be stopping anything.
Just telling him this wasn't in the manual.
Well, if they're going to put that diamond dust or the dirt there, then it has to be stopped.
That doesn't look like it stopped to me though.
No.
I don't know, Arch. I mean, the umpires are out there supervising, watching what's going on. Could they possibly be talking over a scenario? Look, we'll do the best we can and just keep maintaining it every half inning and try to play it out?
I have no idea. That's a guess. I have no idea.
Because the only other option is to say, all right, let's call it a day and we'll come back and play 2 tomorrow.
If they know what exactly is wrong, maybe somebody will let us know, or let somebody up here in the press box know what's going on.
That looks said it all from Gary Cedarstrom.
Yeah, he's just moseying on in.
Well, if you just joined us and you're wondering why in the world are we watching all these guys push water around on the warning track, something busted. A pipe must have burst somewhere behind the outfield wall, and it has been gushing onto the field ever since the Jan Gomes double with 2 outs in this inning. But if you missed some of the earlier action in the first inning, the Royals struck early. A walk, then a bloop single to right, and a Salvador Perez big ball just to the right of straightaway center field, made it 3-0 Kansas City. Indians got on the board on a Michael Brantley RBI single in the 3rd inning, scoring Greg Allen. And then leading off this 4th, Yonder Alonso. Now he drilled a ball into the bullpen right near the source of where the water eventually started pouring out onto the field.
And that's what they've been dealing with. And now umpires are going to be walking over to the Indians dugout trying to explain to them. And you can see it was really coming out of there.
Now, is this current right now? Is this? No, that's still what happened earlier.
Now, yeah, now here we go. Umpires are sitting over there talking to the Indians dugout. Clevenger's just standing there saying, let's go. But he would have to wait a while because the Indians are still hitting.
So there is still water coming up, but it looks like it's slowed.
Hard stuff's not coming for a while. That's what they're trying to do, is get all that diamond dust out there on the warning track. That's going to be very, very wet out there and soft and soggy. Well, this is a first, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had rain delays, we've had electrical outages.
This is just reminiscent of that night in Baltimore many years ago when the Indians dugout flooded.
Yeah, well, but that it was because of rain. This one is just because of the fountains or something broke.
Now Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, is already conferred with Carl Willis and Mike Clevenger.
Well, he's going to his quarters to sit down and rest because it doesn't look like we're going to be back anytime soon.
Maybe he's calling HQ, saying, what do you think we should do about this? Let's go down to Andre.
Well, this isn't going to help much, but this is just the word that we've gotten from the Royals is that the crew is working to have the water supply shut off in the impacted area of the ballpark. Once they're able to do that, they hope that they can clear the flooding. But as you guys see, the water is still flowing, but they're trying to cut off the water in that area at this point in time. And from the umpires, they're just, what I've been told by them is they can't make a decision until they find out if they can actually get the water stopped out there in that bullpen area.
What I heard from up here is that guy took a vacation tonight and he is somewhere else.
Look at his socks. Look at the socks.
I know it.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, whoever, I mean, who's capable of knowing what the valve they're going to have to shut off or close that fountain down in right field?
They have to have a Jim Folk here in Kansas City,
Right,
and that's
a guy of operations.
sure that's who they're calling on right now to get it done.
Maybe we should call Jim Folk and maybe get his input so we can tell them.
Ned Yost, the manager's out there. I mean, that's the guy you want out there. Because
well, yeah, he doesn't want this.
He could scare you right into action. And the grounds crew is doing everything in their power to try and get this remedied. But as we have learned, until the water's shut off completely, it doesn't seem like.
They've got about 4 or 5 guys carrying that bags of stuff that they're bringing out. I don't think there's any more room for it under the fence.
Well, we're going to take a timeout. We'll see if we have any resolution to the waterworks problem in Kansas City when we come back. has filled in as much of the diamond dust as possible. The extra dirt trying to cover up the mess that has been caused by either a busted pipe, something that gave way beyond the fence there in right field. And it looks like, for the most part, the water has stopped coming in, or either that or they've just thrown so much dirt up against it. Well, we can't
and they're
see
trying
it.
to rake it in. I think that's the case. But I'll tell you what, you're going to have to be very careful out there if you're a right fielder. Now, when you go back to that track, you better just let the ball hit. It may be hit and just stick and check into that mud.
Well, is that something too, though, where the umpires have to deem, all right, is this safe? Do they have to?
Well, I'm sure. Well, that's, I think, why Ned Yost is out there. He's not going to let any players go out there and go into something like this unless he's sure it's okay.
Because that looks like it would be just like running into quicksand right now. I think it's got to be completely
you think your
saturated.
feet would sink about 3 or 4 inches. As wet as it is, you can put all that dirt on you want. Maybe make a hill out there.
Well, they're not done yet, though. I mean, the grounds crew's got toys to work with.
Oh, yes, they do. It'll be like Taos Hill in Houston that they tore down. Out in right field in Kansas City.
It'll be Fountain Hill.
There you go. He's got to get the gear down and smooth it out.
Fascinating, folks, isn't it? Well, back in Baltimore a few years ago, this was the scene I was referring to. How long ago was this?
That's a long time ago.
Not that long ago. 5 years ago.
9 years ago.
He said, oh, yeah, it was 9 years ago.
Just yesterday. There's Datsy. Look at the boots.
That was
They're trying to find the drain so they can pull it out.
That water was all the way up to the top.
They had to close it off.
Yeah, now that, folks, where that led all the way to the clubhouse. So that water, when it rushed out of the dugout, it went all the way up to the clubhouse door, right to the edge of it. That was bizarre.
They had to come out the umpire's room and go through to get to the clubhouse that day.
But as you say, that was because of Mother Nature. This is something entirely different. And that water just keeps bubbling up from below the surface.
Uh-oh.
Is it a full moon?
I don't know, unless they're pulling something out of the truck on us. That's real? Okay.
Our home plate umpire, who just passed third base, doesn't even have his chest protector on anymore. If we get our camera shot right now, he's running out to check on what's going on, but he just ran by us.
Yeah.
Well, you've got 3 umpires out there already. Yeah, there's
well, he's got
a couple text messages.
He might have MLB HQ instructing them as to what measures should be taken here. And honestly, you know, Andre, I don't know if there's any chatter going on down there, but I think now it becomes a matter of player safety. Is the field in that section secure enough so that if somebody runs back on it, the footing's good enough?
That's what the Indians players over here have talked about. They just want it safe. They don't care how long it takes or whatever else. Will it be safe to go out on that track? Looks like Ramon brought out a phone for somebody else.
Sure he did.
That's the crew chief.
Yeah, he brought the gear, yeah.
Hey, Rook, go get my phone and bring it out to me.
We may be getting close, possible.
I don't know if Ned Yost was giving the fans a thumbs up as if, yeah, we're going to be playing. It looks like that's the case.
Yeah, it is. They're closing the gates out there, so I think we're on our way. Ground crew, man, they did a heck of a job.
Here's another wild one we were part of. Remember this one back in 2010 in Philadelphia? It was a beautiful sunny afternoon. This was at about, what, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
It's tossing those guys around like they're nothing. And then they had vehicles parked on it. Watch this car.
Like a tinker toy, threw that thing around. That was wild.
Yes, it was.
That's probably
destruction on our way to the airport, too, as far as trees being down.
Yeah. I think that's as close a storm to being in a tornado as I've ever been. I mean, that was scary. Well,
we still don't know anything yet because
he's saying get him out here. Let's go.
Okay,
Game on.
Let's go. So now their pitcher's going to have to go out there and get loose again.
Indians have a runner at second with 2 down. And they'll probably give him a few pitches to get loose.
Absolutely. Get all he wants. So that was a little strange mishap.
You know, I don't know that you ever assume anything in life, but just imagine you're a young guy on the grounds crew and you're going, oh, it's a beautiful night. We're not going to have to worry about rain delays or anything. I'm just going to be able to chill. And then right in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the 4th inning.
You just never know.
No, it's been over a half an hour.
Greg Allen will be at the plate. He singled, stole a base, scored the Indians' first run last inning. He'll be up with a chance to tie it up with a base hit here. Back in the 3rd inning, Greg Allen leading off. Got a breaking ball, waited back on it.
Yeah, kept his hands back beautifully there to.
Well, Matt, Rick, I got to tell you guys, everyone else on the bench kind of had fun with this. Some guys went back into the clubhouse. But Greg sat here with his bat the entire time, concentrating, not laughing, not talking to anyone. It's almost like he had a no-hitter going, like he wanted to stay in the same mental place that he's been in, and they even tried to mess with him, and he wouldn't go into it.
He knew he was a first hitter. Let's go. I want to hit. I've got a guy in scoring position. Well, it looks like he's going to be about ready. Now we got to wait till the home plate umpire gets dressed again.
He's coming out right now. He's good.
Andre, give him your chest protector. Let's go.
My chest protector means I call strikes from over here. I ain't going back there. I'll duck like you ducked on that ball yesterday, boss. Ducky is what we should have on the back of your jersey.
That's my next year's.
Here's our great clip of the game from yesterday.
This is a great clip. Nice. There it is. See, get it when it stops rolling. Andre, no harm, no foul, baby.
Hey, look how you played it off, though. You duck away. You're afraid. Now you know. There's the governor, everybody. There. That's why I call him the governor. Look at the smile. Look at me, everybody. Look at me.
I did give that ball away too, by the way.
Like anybody cares about that. Hope he didn't keep that ball for himself. Greg Allen fouls a pitch off, and we're back underway.
Andre wanted it.
After a delay of 30 minutes on the nose. I'm officially writing down on my card it was a fountain delay.
I would agree with that.
Up the ladder, Brad Keller goes and strikes him out. Indians get a run closer. A 30-minute delay, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, 3-2, Kansas City.
Mistake pitch right there. It cost him 3 runs in the first inning. But boy, as he settled down from that point, he has been dealing ever since. He struck out 5, had that 1 walk. That was the leadoff hitter. So he has been dealing. Let's hope that half hour didn't mess with his momentum, because he was really in a very nice groove.
Bottom of the 4th, it'll be Lucas Duda, Jorge Bonifacio, and Ryan O'Hearn. I always wonder in a situation like this, as a pitcher, if it's kind of, you know, maybe falling out of the game just a little bit mentally, because you're trying to figure out what's going on. Are we going to play? How long is the delay? And so mentally you just sort of fall out of the focus that you need to have when you're in the game, or if there's any sort of physical factor that comes into play when you have to sit for 30 minutes. That's out number 1.
Well, these guys know how to keep themselves going. You know, they weren't told anything, so that I think you probably felt it was going to come back in a hurry.
Yeah, I think as long as you don't mentally check out.
Yeah.
Like if you say, oh, we're not going to play, or this game's over, and then you have to get it started again, that would be difficult.
Clev went back and he started doing the weighted ball workouts that he does
that,
before games usually. That's what he was doing basically that last 15 minutes or so.
That's what I figured. He wasn't going far. He was going to stay loose and ready to go. He was out here at the top step looking at everything.
Popped him up.
I like this.
And it'll be Yonder Alonso.
Early outs.
2 away.
Start dead batteries with NOCO.
3-2 Kansas City. 2 down. Bottom of the 4th, Ryan O'Hearn struck out his only time up. Outside with it, 2-2. Yankees Orioles tied 4-4 in Baltimore. They're in the 9th inning. Up and away, 3-0. They've gone to the 8th down in Tampa, where the Rays still lead the Red Sox 10-3. Swung at the 3-0 pitch, and the fastball is fouled away, 3-1. Good pitch. He gave up on that fastball, and it was on the inside corner. Full count. Oakland leads Minnesota 2-1. They're in the 6th inning at Target Field. The payoff pitch. Shoots it the other way. Fair ball. And into second base with a 2-out double is Ryan O'Hearn. That snaps a string of 11 in a row, retired by Clevenger.
Look at him shoot it the other way. That was down, low dart in the middle of the plate, but he takes it the other way. It catches inside the chalk. O'Hearn will have his second double, and a 2-out double, so Clev's got to come right back here and get this out.
Hunter Dozier struck out his first time up tonight. And Clevenger with a first pitch curveball for a strike. Dozier just 6 hits in his last 36 at bats. Right back to the screen. And it's 0-2. upstairs, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
Change the eye level right there on a high fastball. That one though was just a little too high where he wasn't able to swing at it. Maybe slows it down again.
He did, but he got a piece of it, pulled it foul.
Yeah, I don't know if it's me tonight or what. It looks like he's throwing more curveballs to me than sliders, because I think his slider's a little bit harder, but he's really slowing it down, which is, you know, it's been good for him.
And he just waved at it. That'll end the inning. It's 6 strikeouts for Mike Clevenger. We'll head to the 5th. 3-2 Kansas City. Is brought to you by the 2019 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. By Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Chevy Network dealers. Visit ClickChevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads. Fifth inning now here in Kansas City. Top of the order for Cleveland. Francisco Lindor leading off. Royals got 3 in the first, and to this point, Brad Keller has made it stand up.
Yeah, and it's the first 3 runs they've ever scored in their weekend Players Weekend jerseys. I told you earlier they were shut out 3 games in Cleveland last year when they were wearing these uniforms.
Salvador Perez. I don't know if that was a contact issue or something flew in his eye.
I don't know, but I didn't know Frankie was an optometrist helping out along the way.
A name like Mr. Smile, you thought he was a dentist.
Right. I'm going to change it to Dr. Smile next year.
Fouls it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Right back up the middle. Cut off by Mondesi, and there is the athleticism that they love here in Kansas City.
Yeah, just made a step to his left, and I'll tell you what, picked that ball nicely and gets rid of it. Has really something on it. Don't worry, Frankie will say, okay, if I don't get my hit, you are not going to get anything. That was a nice play.
So 1 out for Michael Brantley, who drove in a run in the 3rd inning. His 69th RBI on the year. Royals will shift 3 to the right side of the infield for Brantley. Pulls that foul. In the air, shallow left. The third baseman Dozier out. Can't make the play. And Brantley is aboard with 1 out here in the 5th. See how it's scored.
That's got to be a base hit, I would think.
That is how they score it.
You know, this guy, look, he signed as a shortstop, so you'd think he would be a little more athletic. He's playing third base, but watch how he goes back. He never, ever takes his eye off the ball, and he just. I know it's not an easier play. Anytime an infielder puts his back to the plate and has to go out to make a play, it's not an easy play. So Brantley will say, thank you, I'll take a base hit.
Jose Ramirez walked in the 1st, reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. And he jolts one to center field. Phillips makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, 12,500 fans will receive an Edwin Encarnacion bobblehead. That's courtesy of NOCO when the Indians take on the Minnesota Twins on Wednesday. You can grab a $15 district ticket presented by Sports Time or a $15 KeyBank Kids ticket online only. So get your tickets at Indians.com or use the ballpark app.
Up high, ball 1 to Edwin, who has struck out, grounded out. Even with the time missed, Edwin is tied for 9th in the league in homers, 4th in runs batted in. Out of play to the right. For those who may be wondering, why is Dr. Smooth wearing a junior on the back of his jersey? His dad, Mickey Brantley, his dad's name is actually Michael Charles Brantley, and he is Michael Charles Brantley Jr. So if this were Players Weekend,
Matt, not
Michael
only
Sr. might be wearing Mickey on the back of his jersey.
Well, yeah, Mickey would probably have Mickey on it. The other reason Michael wanted to wear it, that's what Tito and Sandy Alomar have called him since they've been here. They've always called him Junior. And he said that was why he wanted to go with that, not Dr. Smooth. He is a junior, and because that's what Tito calls him, figured it was the thing to do.
Yeah, change it. I like that.
I think that shows a level of respect that they have for the fact that his dad did play in the major leagues.
Still his hitting coach.
3-1 pitch. Edwin took a mighty hack, but comes up empty, full count.
Well, this one was down. Look at the movement.
Two-seamer.
It had some movement on it. Eddie likes the ball down, and that was a healthy cut, but you could see how that ball took off. That had late movement you might not see on television, but you could see it get away from the bat of Encarnacion.
Brantley is off. 3-2 pitch. Popped him up. Right field, Bonifacio. Halfway through, 3-2, Kansas City. It'll be Brett Phillips, Adalberto Mondesi, and Whit Merrifield for the Royals. Mike Clevenger has retired 12 of the last 13 Kansas City hitters since they took a 3-run lead right out of the chute in the first inning. Royals getting some action in their bullpen. Soggy as it may be.
Yeah, Keller's at 96 pitches.
Clevenger's done a great job of settling in because he had actually made one more pitch than Keller in the first inning. He threw 30, Keller threw 29, and it didn't look like either one of them were going to be around for very long tonight, but Clev is settled right in.
After he got his first out, if something clicked. You know, he got out of that first inning, and I know he wasn't pleased with himself, but he came back out and he's been very efficient. Something went off. Look at that, a 7-pitch inning.
But that's not good. A leadoff walk. That's what started his trouble in the first. And that's a guy that was 0 for his last 18. Adalberto Mondesi called out on strikes in the second inning.
This is a guy too that Ned Yost may play a little game with, maybe a hit and run or something. Even though he walked the leadoff hitter, it may not be first pitch, but maybe in this at bat.
Showing bunt. And you know, Mondesi was swinging the bat really well. He had boosted his average up to 279. But since he got to that 279 mark, he's now 1 for his last 19. Bunts it back over the screen, and it's 0-2.
And that didn't really look like a sacrifice bunt, did it? I mean, from a guy down there, it looked like he was just trying to maybe take it with him. So he's in the hole now, 0-2.
He fights off the curveball to stay alive. Last time up, I believe it was a fastball Clevenger froze him with. Up out of the zone, 1-2. Again, he misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Up the ladder he goes with a fastball and strikes him out. And that's 7 strikeouts now from Mike Clevenger. 1 down here in the 5th inning. Our next Indians game tomorrow, or an hour earlier, getting underway. Corey Kluber will go for the Indians, and our coverage with Indians Live begins at 6:30. First pitch at 7 right here on Sports Time Ohio, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Did they start that an hour earlier because of leaks? It was.
Hopefully they will
Oh, I'm
we'll
sure
be
they'll
able to
get a good
resolve
look
the
at
issue
it.
at some point here, overnight, early tomorrow. Left field, down the line, foul ball.
Close. I want to send along some anniversary wishes. Happy 61st wedding anniversary to Ken and Martha Ermlich. And a happy 50th anniversary to Al and Leslie Bernier. And some happy birthdays. Ward Buck turning 83 from Madison. And Donna Erdman is turning 84 from Kent. Happy birthday to you both.
Whit Merrifield walked and scored back in the first. He flied to deep left his last time up. Came into tonight's game third in the American League in hits with 149. And a strike is called. It's 1-2. Ramirez snares the line drive, throw back across the diamond, not in time. Phillips alertly got back. 2 down.
Now you watch, he throws the breaking ball and he ends up pulling it. But Ramirez was standing right in the way, and that's a good way to go about it. Fire a one-hop seed over there. But that's pretty good base running to get back, to not get doubled off. That first base coach, the first thing they tell you when you get on first base, hey, freeze on a line drive. Don't go anywhere. Get back.
Alex Gordon, single, and a run scored in the first. Struck out his last time up. Takes a strike. Throw back behind the bag, and sliding back in safely is Phillips. This is where they think Gordon is most likely to hit the ball on the ground, so they shift him over to the right.
And deep at second base.
2-1 the count. Oh, Gordon doesn't like the call. Fastball and just nicked the outside edge. And it's 2-2 for Mike Clevenger.
Let's watch and take a peek.
Pitcher's pitch.
Now a little off. You see where Gomes brought it back in a little bit, but he's awfully good at it.
Slowed it down and a base hit to center. Phillips going to third. So Royals at the corners with 2 down.
Yeah, just got that pitch away, that fastball. Then he comes in with the breaking ball, left it upstairs. He took advantage of it, slaps it the other way with 2 outs. Phillips on his way to third, so Allen wasn't going to have a shot on him. Just throw it into second base. Still have 2 outs.
And Salvador Perez coming to the plate. 3-run homer in the first. He flied to center his last time up. You mentioned a moment ago, base running, so fundamental. Freeze on a line drive, you know. when you went from high school to pro ball, I'm imagining when you're in high school, there's a lot of line drives where you know these guys have no chance of catching it. They're not good enough athletes. You could read those right off the bat easily. Was it the next step to pro ball, or was it pro ball to the big leagues to where you saw, oh man, these guys catch a lot more than anybody else I've ever seen before?
No, I was coming out of high school just getting into professional baseball because they hit the ball 10 times harder. You know, you go to high school, you may have a couple of kids that could hit. And most of those line drives that we see up there, they're little humpback liners in high school, you know, where you can see if they're gone, you're going to run. Well, you get to to professional baseball, you don't realize how hard some of these guys hit the ball. On the ground, line drives.
But you sort of have to adjust your perspective as a runner, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do. And now, I mean, with all the information now you know the fielders, the arm strength, and how they set up and how they play. You've got to be your own coach.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I see guys in the outfield playing with sheets that with cards, with cards on how they have to play each hitter. But they never used to have that. But with you've got to be aware of your own. Your mind has to be your own scoreboard out there when you're playing a baseball game, whether it's base running, defense, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. Now, for these guys, they go out there, they know what kind of speed Gordon has at first, what kind of speed the runner has at third, what kind of runner the guy at the plate is. When you're in pro ball just starting out, you've got to go by the eye test. You've got to figure it out first time through the lineup who can run.
That's why you don't take anything for granted. You just go and you believe everybody can run. Just get to it, get it in if you're an outfielder, and when you're an infielder, get it and get it over to first.
Ground ball right side. Kipnis is there, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, 2 left. 5 in the books. Kansas City 3, Cleveland 2. And we're going to the 6th inning of play, and Kansas City is going to the bullpen. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen being made by Ned Yost, and it's Brian Flynn who gets the call for Kansas City.
Big left-hander, turning for the 39th time. 3-5 record, 4.04 ERA, coming on to face Alonso, Cabrera, and Kipnis. Flynn, a big guy, 6'7", 255 pounds.
He is one of 2 left-handers in the bullpen for Ned Yost. Yonder Alonso homered his last time up. That's the last run for the Indians in this game. Fastball misses off the plate. Got a piece of it, says home plate umpire Ramon De Jesus. So Alonso stays alive. Brian Flynn took the loss last night for the Kansas City Royals after he allowed that run we showed you earlier. It ended the game. But he walked the leadoff man to start that inning, and how often is that the
Come back to
undoing
bite you.
of a late inning reliever? Here he strikes out Alonso.
Well, you get your tickets now to Nkaya Music Festival. That'll take place Saturday and Sunday in Cleveland. So catch performances by New Order, the Ivette Brothers, SZA, AWOL Nation, the Revivalists, Cake, and many more. Don't miss out on the biggest party to rock Cleveland. Purchase your tickets at Nkaya.com.
Melky Cabrera is 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice tonight. Out of play. Melky Cabrera came into tonight batting .309 in his last 30 games with the Indians, with 6 homers and 15 runs driven in. Good pitch. You can see he just kind of locked him up. He was not looking for that ball inside. And that's back-to-back Ks for Brian Flynn.
Yeah, you're looking for something out over the plate. He throws a little dart in there on the inside corner. You can't pull the trigger.
And so up comes Jason Kipnis, 0 for 2 tonight. Fastball strike, 2-1. And there's a strike. Boy, he's going up and down. He's moving the ball in and out. Flynn has done a nice job so far. He struck out Alonso swinging, Cabrera looking. And now the 2-2 to Kipnis. And a foul off down the left side. Final in Tampa, Rays beat the Red Sox 10-3. Oakland leads Minnesota 2-1. They're in the 8th at Target Field. In the dirt, full count. Jan Gomes would be next.
That's what you want to do. Get Gomer up there the way he's swinging the bat.
And another foul back by Kipnis. It stays 3-2. Again the 3-2, and this time it's popped in the air, playable. Dozier makes the catch. Indians go in order, middle of the 6th, 3-2 Kansas City. Ohio, relive and share great moments, get game updates, and hear from players both before and after games. Follow us at SportsTime Ohio on Twitter. Lucas Duda, 0 for 2, is fouled out, flied out. Thought this was interesting. Duda has hit in 12 of his last 15 games, but only a .236 average during that time. Why? Only one multi-hit game during that span. So a lot of one and done.
Yeah.
Which, hey, it's better than an 0 for.
It certainly is. But, you know, if you can get that one hit, maybe walk in an at-bat, you know, or if you can't get multi-hit games, it's.
Sends a high fly ball. This might be trouble. Deep right. Cabrera's back at the wall. He leaps up and he makes the catch in the quicksand. And he holds on for out number 1. Boy, did he hit that ball about a mile in the sky.
That's what hurt him. That ball, it didn't have that top spin like it normally does, but it was hit high and deep, and they thought it was going to be a home run, but he jumps right at the wall. It wouldn't have been out. So Milky makes the catch, puts it away for out number 1. That's one as a hitter you go, oh my goodness, but that guy's happy it stayed in the ballpark. Right now he's done a wonderful job after giving up 3 in the first to just keep them right where they've been at 3 runs. He's only allowed 2 hits since the first inning.
Andrew Miller is up in the Cleveland bullpen if needed. You see Clevenger closing in on 100 pitches for the night. And foul back by Jorge Bonifacio, who is 0 for 2. Just too tall with the fastball. 1-2 the count. Down on any miss, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Almost chased after it, but he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's high in the air, left center field. Playable though for Brantley. Or is it Allen? It's going to be Allen who makes the catch. They were both kind of looking at each other for a minute. But it was clearly Greg Allen's ball all the way. 2 down.
Start dead batteries with NOCO.
And with 2 down, Ryan O'Hearn, the batter. He is 1 for 2 with a double back in the 4th. Good piece of hitting. He shot it down the left field line.
Yeah, he caught a low fastball ahead. This is the middle of the plate, but down.
But it came with 2 outs, and Clevenger was able to strike out Dozier to get out of that inning. In all likelihood, his final hitter of the night. But that was a pretty good pitch.
Is that a changeup? Sure was. Had him out in front. Came back with another one.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was more of a fade on that
Yeah,
changeup.
that one had moved. But you know, you get into a 2-0 count, and the young hitters they search the fastball. And Gomes knows that, so hey, let's just take a little something off. If he wants to hit it, he's going to have to stay back. And it was back-to-back changeups. And now a breaking ball again.
Strikes him out to end the inning. Clevenger with 8 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. He trails 3-2. Baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. (3-2) Kansas City as we head to the 7th inning. And the Royals' 3rd pitcher of the night is Kevin McCarthy. He had a save opportunity last night, or you know, this is always kind of one of those weird things. He wasn't in at the end of the game, but he blew a hold really rather than a save opportunity.
Right.
He allowed the tying run to score in the 7th inning after after he had pitched a clean 6th.
Well, again, it's another ground ball pitcher. His ground ball rate is 64%, best among American League relievers. So you keep it down, you keep it in the ballpark. You got to like that in this ball yard. And when you're coming out of the bullpen, guys love sinker ball pitchers out of there, and swing and miss guys.
Yeah, this is a hard enough ballpark to hit home runs in as it is, let alone you get a guy that's up there who can sink it.
Yep. Hit it on the ground. Tough to get to the gaps.
Line drive and a base hit in the left field for Yan Gomes. So he's 2 for 3 tonight. And he is just continuing to tear it up. He's having a fantastic month of August.
Continues to swing the bat beautifully. Watch him go down, get this ball, pull the hands in. This ball was running inside. Thank you. Good
Redbird
swing.
said that's 3 straight multi-hit games for Gomes. And if you look at Yan, let's see now, in the month of August, he's got 17 hits in 48 at bats. What is that, about 350?
That's a nice job. Period. 17. Keep it rolling. He's hitting down at the bottom part of the lineup.
Greg Allen singled, stole a base, scored in the 3rd, struck out his last time up. He's potentially bunting here. That's what's got Dozier in on the grass at 3rd. Doesn't show it. Takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Well, he's swinging the bat as well as he ever has right now. So, you know, I don't think you necessarily have to put on a bunt. He's had trouble bunting this year. Period. So let him go ahead. He's swinging it good.
Well, that was closer than it needed to be.
Yeah, exactly. He hopped back to first. Take that leg right after the foot hit first base.
Kansas City's taking a closer look. Got the finger up. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the pitcher stepped on the rubber. Murph said it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, that's true, but I've seen that changed before.
Greg
right.
bunts it, and it goes foul.
Yeah, smart thing to do. Perez saw it had spin to it, so he wasn't going to pick it up. He was originally, and the only play would have been first base, but he realized it was going to roll foul. Check it out. Gets it down. It never really got onto the grass. It was always on the dirt. So you just let it roll out.
Right at the second baseman, Merrifield gets the tag and the throw and an easy double play.
Yeah, Gomes ran into it though. He ran into the play as a base runner. You've got to stop. Don't let the second baseman come in, catch it, and tag you, because then it will be a double play. I'm not saying it couldn't have ended up into a double play, but you've got to stop as a base runner and make that second baseman either chase you back or tag you. Not tag you, but throw to first base. And with Allen running, if you give him a little time, he would have beat it out.
2 down for Lindor. Lindor singled in the 1st. He had a productive out in the 3rd that led to a run. Robbed of a hit his last time up by his counterpart, Mondesi. And a count quickly 0-2. And a ball and 2 strikes, the count on Lindor. 1 for 3 tonight, but boy, he has tortured Kansas City this year. A .424 average against with 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. Just a bit outside, 2-2. Struck him out. Stretch time in Kansas City. The Royals 3 and the Indians 2. Andrew Miller. He's got the bottom third of the Royals order here in the 7th inning. That means Hunter Dozier, Brett Phillips, and Adalberto Mondesi are due up. We'll see if they pinch hit at all. Doesn't look like that. I see Phillips already making his way to the on-deck circle for Kansas City. Andrew Miller with the first pitch strike on a breaking ball. Boy, last time out he was really good against Boston.
Yes, he was.
I hope he kind of builds off of that.
Velocity was up at 94.
There's the fastball. Just missed inside.
Well, Mike Clevenger did a heck of a job settling down after that first inning. The first 3 reached, and that's the only damage he allowed was the 3 runs, a 3-run home run. And
hit him on the foot. And the leadoff man aboard for Kansas City.
Again, that's that slider that gets away from him and hits a guy, commanding it. So they'll get their leadoff man aboard.
Brett Phillips struck out on the second. He walked his last time up, and he tried to lay down a bunt. It's strike 1. You know, Ned Yost would love to add a run here. He's got that leadoff man aboard. The square, the bunt foul, and it's 0-2. This would not be a fun guy to bunt against, especially if you're a left-handed hitter.
Exactly. It's not an easy at-bat period, no matter if you're hitting, bunting, or whatever. You see all arms and legs. He slings it up there. His slider is all over the place. So I don't see him doing it here again.
He does try, and he bunts it foul. Good night. He's out, 1 away.
Yeah, that's just what you call overmatched right there.
I was just thinking, Arch, if you were a left-handed hitter, would it give you any advantage at all to maybe go to the very front of the box,
well,
to try and take down some of the angle?
The first thing you have to do is try and bunt a strike, and I'm not so sure how many he tried to bunt, you know, that were strikes in the zone. You know, it could help, you know, as far as that breaking ball, but that one looked like that was about a 6 inches, 8 inches off the plate.
It also might look like it's coming from behind you to start.
It is.
Players weekend, and Andrew Miller's got the Carolina blue spikes working. I'm sure
Carl?
Yeah, he and Carl are. Oh, there's a fly ball to left. Playable for Brantley. It appears like it's going to die, and it will, shy of the track. And chasing all the way back to first is Dozier, 2 down. Yeah, I wonder if Carl would asked him where he got those.
Train, don't be afraid to mix me into size 11.
I think I can get a pair of those. Tonight's attendance, 19,304 on a very humid night in Kansas City. Two down, a runner at first, and Whit Merrifield is the batter. Merrifield is 0 for 2, but he walked and scored in the Royals' 3-run first. That was it. Merrifield walked. Alice Gordon, the next man up, blooped a single into right field, and then Salvador Perez, the third man up, blasted a 3-run homer just to the right of straightaway center, and that's all the scoring for Kansas City tonight. The Indians got their first run on an RBI single by Michael Brantley in the third, and a solo home run by Yonder Alonso in the fourth. And if you're just getting home from a beautiful night of high school football in northeastern Ohio, we also had a 30-minute delay because the fountains leaked onto the field. And in right field, the warning track was under siege. Fly ball, shallow left. In comes Michael. Out goes Lindor. Dr. Smooth, or shall I say Junior, calls him off, makes the catch, and we'll go to the 8th. It's still 3-2 Kansas City. You just never know. Well, this is the part of the bullpen that the locals here in Kansas City feel very good about, though. If you look at that ERA, yikes, Brandon Maurer. At one time, this guy had some filthy stuff, but a 7.83 ERA, that's just a disastrous year. 23 innings of work, 33 hits allowed. Swing and a miss. But he pitched a scoreless 8th inning last night. He has punched out at least 1 in 9 of his last 11. And 10 of his last 11 outings have been scoreless. So that tells you that he's obviously made some kind of adjustment, and he very nearly struck out Brantley on 3 pitches.
Well, he has good stuff. Now, it may not translate to get outs, but if he makes quality pitches, that's the one thing with it. Somebody got thrown out. Somebody got thrown out of the game. Who's that? Oh, was that pitching coach?
Is that Dale Swaim?
Yeah, it looks like it. That didn't take long. I didn't see anything going, but yeah, he is now gone.
Dale Swaim, the bench coach.
Oh, he was probably wanting that pitch called a strike, is what it was. I mean, it was a good pitch. Let's see. Maybe a little low.
It looked low, but Brantley fouls it off. You can see Michael.
Well, you know what happens too? Frustration sets in. They had a long night. They've been losing, and you get a pitch like that, you want it to go your way. You don't want to give a hitter like Brantley another pitch if you think it's a strike, and you know that can happen. You know, umpires, it seems like they're always going against the team that's scuffling.
2-2 to count. Two. Is that perception or is that reality?
No, I think a lot of it's perception, but I will say this: it certainly does happen sometimes when you're not getting the breaks. You know, it always seems like the better teams get the better calls. I mean, and it's at certain times of a game where you need that one pitch. Let's see how this at bat transpires and find out.
3-2. Brantley lines it into left field, and it's caught by Alex Gordon. Boy, that was a nice play. He got a good break on it. It stayed up just enough for him, but really he had no chance for a misstep on coming in there.
I didn't think he was going to get there. I thought it was going to fall in, and I was going to say, now you see, they can go back and say that's why if that ball was called a strike. Well, they can't now because it's over with, so that's done. They get the first out. Good play by Gordon, but you give good hitters 4 strikes, and there's a pretty good chance they're going to reach base.
Jose Ramirez 0 for 2 with a walk. And there's a smash up the middle and into center field. Mondesi went to the seat of his pants to try and knock it down, but that ball was really hammered.
You're not going to pick that one on the backhand side, boy. That ball was smoked. That would have had to be absolutely perfect. It goes right up the middle, and he's going to have to go. And I don't even know if he went too far with his glove trying to get there. See, you try and time it. You're going down, and that ball's coming. That was just a tough play.
100 miles an hour off the bat, as you said. I mean, that's a do-or-die play for an infielder.
If you make it, it's actually a lucky play.
Throw to first, and Ramirez dives back safely. Ball was in the dirt, and Jose almost jammed his fingers going back into the bag.
Well, you know that guy behind the plate is not afraid to throw. He will throw to any base at any time.
Jose Ramirez and Whit Merrifield, the second baseman for Kansas City, they are tied for the league lead in stolen bases with 28 each. He went too far, and it's 1-1. Second time tonight Edwin has been called on the check.
Yeah, but one was for a third called third, and that's what you don't like. Maurer's about average delivering the ball to home plate. That was a little quicker with a slide step there.
That ball looked like it was off the plate, but called a strike, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that's been a strike. That's been a strike a lot tonight.
Runner goes, and a swing and a foul ball, and Ramirez will have to go back to first base. He had that ball bag stolen. But with 2 strikes, Edwin turned it loose. We're in the 8th with the Indians down a run, 3-2. Brandon Maurer, 1 on, 1 out. Remember a little while ago I told you Oakland was up on Minnesota 2-1. They've
Yes.
opened up a 7-1 lead now. A's lead it in the 9th, 7-1 over Minnesota at Target Field. The Yankees hung on and beat Baltimore 7-5. So the Orioles are now 37-91. Two. Low and away and a full count.
Well, we'll see if Jose gets a jump here. Because if he doesn't make a good pitch, it's going to be a walk anyway. Edwin will take it. But I would think he may be off and running.
He is, and it's foul. And Edwin Skin has sent his teammates scattering in the dugout.
And he didn't give in. He came right back with another breaking ball. Even though he was ahead of Edwin, there's a lot of breaking balls in the last 4 pitches.
Ramirez held at first by O'Hearn. He's off, and the 3-2 is grounded to third. Backhanded by Dozier, and throws him out, 2 down. Ramirez in the scoring position with 2 down. Well, it's time now for our Miller Lite Hold True moment. And
timeout.
This occurred in the 4th inning. Water began seeping onto the playing field from behind the right field wall, and it just kept pouring out onto the warning track. The grounds crew, they were fighting an uphill battle there for 30 solid minutes because the water just kept pouring out onto the field. They were trying to sweep it away, but as fast as they could sweep it away, it just kept on pouring onto that surface. But they were finally able to stem the tide, and
they did a good job once they figured out what it was, and whoever figured out to turn something off.
Our producer Jim Murphy told me during that melee that back on March 28th, a similar situation happened at Dodger Stadium.
Really?
Up high. It was the final spring training game. It was an exhibition game played between the Dodgers and the Angels. And how about after a 32-minute delay, they called the game. But instead of just a water leak like that one, this one was sewage that leaked onto the field. And the players were going, it was nasty, man. It smelled terrible. And
that's an old ballpark.
I think that was a little bit of a different situation. And that probably had more to do with why they and the fact that it was an exhibition game didn't hurt.
Correct.
2-0 pitch, grounded foul by Alonso.
2-0 pitch, and he chases a changeup right there. He had to be guessing fastball.
Alonso homered in the 4th. That's the last run the Indians have scored tonight. He checks, it's low, and it's 3-1.
Well, you're back into another good hitter's count. After that changeup, he followed up with a breaking ball. See what he gives him here. Doesn't look like he wants to throw him a heater.
Yonder drives it high in the air, deep right field. Look out, it is gone to Souvenir City, and the Indians take the lead. Oh, baby. A 2-out, 2-run mammoth home run for Yonder Alonso. His second home run of the night and his 22nd of the season. And the Indians have turned the tables on Kansas City here in the 8th inning.
Well, that's his 5th career multi-home run game, and I bet Maurer now wishes he didn't throw him a fastball. It was a steady diet of off-speed pitches, and then he gets him to 2 strikes, and he threw him the fastball, and boy, did he make him pay. 22nd home run, and he just put his head down. Look at that, coming up and in. You know he likes the ball up for a left-handed hitter. But boy, what a clutch hit right there. He's driven in 3 out of the 4.
Well, and as we said, Arch, Brandon Maurer, great arm, but you look at those numbers and you think, my goodness. And he was close to getting out of the inning, but one bad pitch proves to be very costly tonight for Maurer.
That's the 5th home run that Maurer has allowed this year. Now the walk, and I think he could be just frustrated right now with himself after that hit right there. He was 1 out away from getting out of the inning. 1 strike away, I should say.
And so Jason Kipnis to the plate with 2 down and a runner at first. Well, now Kipnis gets into one to center field. Back goes Phillips and makes the catch, and the inning is over. Yonder Alonso has provided 3 of the 4 runs for the Indians tonight. His 2nd homer as the Indians up 4-3. Home run. This baby was blasted. 410 feet, but I mean, it was up there. What was the hang time? 6.2.
Yeah, it was up there, and yet when you pull a ball like that, it was 410 feet. It looks like it's a mile.
It does.
It really does when you pull the ball, as opposed to going to this, the center field, right center, or the middle part of the field, and he hammered it. But it's now time for Brad Hand to come on.
Yeah, he's got the 2, 3, 4 hitters. Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, Lucas Duda. Hand with the first pitch, strike to Gordon, who is 2 for 3, 2 singles and a run scored. Funny how this game is. Alex Gordon, before last night, was in a 5 for 43 slump, and now he has 5 hits in his last 2 games.
Sometimes it is tough to figure out.
And a ground ball. Kipnis from the outfield grass throws him out. And by the way, against 2 of the better pitching staffs in baseball, Tampa and Cleveland are right there among the best in pitching. But recapping our storylines, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. No letdown after the Sox series. Well, I don't know if it's been a letdown or not, but the Indians offense has had to really scratch and claw their way through this one. They have the lead now late. Lindor and Ramirez each with a hit tonight, each with a run scored.
Well, they have 9 hits on the night compared to Kansas City with 4. Their one swing of the bat came for them in the first inning, but it came close to holding up here until the 8th, and that's pretty much Kansas City's story in a nutshell. They get the lead, they can't hold it.
Like I said, they each had a run scored. Lindor did not. Ramirez scored a run. Lindor is 1 for 4 on the night and is due up 3rd in the night.
This is a Kansas City team also that if you can, you would like to get a lead on, because they're not going to be a big come from behind team. 14th in home runs, last in the league in runs scored, and it's a tough way to go when you've got a bullpen that, boy, they got to be perfect or hold leads. It's not an easy thing to do.
Down low. 3 balls and a strike. And that's ball 4. So the tying run is aboard in the 8th. And it will bring up Lucas Duda. The only bats left on the bench for Kansas City, Alcides Escobar is the right-handed hitter. Drew Butera is a right-handed hitter, but he's the backup catcher. And you've got a switch hitter, Rosel Herrera.
Well, and there's the numbers for Duda against Hand in his career. Not bad. 6 for 17 with a homer, 4 punch-outs.
Popped him up on the infield. Now shallow right. Out goes Lindor with the shift on, and he can't make the play. And they throw to second and still get the force on Salvador Perez.
They are lucky.
Boy, you're
Perez
not
is running. You know what? Come on, outfielders, take advantage of it. That ball was up there forever. You've got to take the infielder off. He's playing on the outside now. He was playing on the right side of the infield, but come on. Get in there and catch the ball. Let's see. Allen was a little bit in the left center field. He's sprinting, but Milky, here comes Milky. Here comes Milky. Let's go. I don't know. That just seemed like it was up there for an awful long time, and they are thankful that Perez is running. He was going back. Yeah, look at that. He can't believe it. It's frustrating right there. They catch a break and then they don't take advantage of it.
Well, as you said too, and I'm not making excuses, but my point is this is a bigger outfield. They play a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And when you've got the franchise coming out there, you don't want to run them over.
No, you're not going to run them over, but that was maybe a tough, because Allen was over in left center field, so he had a heck of a long way to go. But that's a weird play for Lindor, because he's over on that side running that way.
Yeah.
He's the shortstop, for goodness sake. They caught a break.
And with 2 down, Jorge Bonifacio takes a fastball, for some reason called a ball, 1-1.
I know one thing, that ball was up there way too long for it not to be caught.
That was up in the air for
over 6 seconds.
As long as the home run ball by Alonso.
Over 6 seconds, so you've got to have time to come in and catch it. Well, at least that's the way I feel.
Big chopper to third. Ramirez sets, throws, got him. Brad Hand with a scoreless 8th. And we'll go to the 9th, 4-3 Cleveland. Presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Well, it's a 4-3 Indians lead, and we go to the 9th inning. For the Indians, it'll be the bottom of the order. 5th pitcher of the night for Kansas City, and it's right-hander Willie Peralta, who last pitched almost a week ago. It was Saturday, picking up his 8th save of the year.
Two quick strikes.
In the dirt, 1-2. Gomes doubled off the wall in left field. He just missed a home run by maybe a couple of feet. Hit about, I think it was about 3/4 of the way up that fence.
Oh, yes.
In front of the Indians bullpen.
We thought it was out of here.
And he singled his last time up. And
Look
how
at
about
this
Gomer
man
with a
break.
3-hit night?
That was just such a pretty swing right there. He finally got something hard enough. He started him off changeup, went breaking ball, and that was really a nice swing there to stay on it. He's using the other way, the other field, a good pitch going down and away at 95. These guys, the harder you throw it, sometimes the better they like it if you don't locate it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Especially a guy like that, when he's locked in and he can just shoot it the other way.
Well, he's a great low ball hitter. If we show you the hits tonight, they're down. If he elevates that fastball, it's something different. But you throw it down and away, and that sort of helps him.
Greg Allen 1 out of 3 on the night, showing bunt, gets it down. It's a good one. Only play is at first, and he just did throw him out. Sacrifice puts Gomes into scoring position. And so now Francisco Lindor with an RBI opportunity. And that right there is such a little thing. But if Greg Allen or whoever's batting ninth can execute that kind of play, and then you give Lindor and Brantley an opportunity to drive in a run, I'll take my chances.
When you have to. You know what I'm saying? That it's not going to be a lot. But you get into playoff baseball, you get into one-run games, 8th, 9th inning, you need to move a runner, you've got to get it done. He did, which is very good. Now, you've got a couple of great hitters that can drive them in. And you take your chances.
A little low to Lindor, ball 1. He's 1 for 4 tonight.
You know, this game reminds me of the first game we started this road trip out with in Boston, down 3-0. And what do? They put zeros on the board the rest of the way, and like tonight they have 4 unanswered, a chance to add on to it. But you fall behind early. That pitching did a nice job, although Boston, they did score 1 in the 9th. But the Indians still held on.
Them up, and this is going to be interesting. Perez back to the on-deck circle near the screen. No, sir, can't get there. And so Lindor stays alive. Big Willie wants to go through the signs again. Gomes, the runner at second base. And he steps off again.
Well, Perez wants to make sure that he's going to throw what he wants. There you go. Get on the same page. Really would be surprised if they throw him a decent fastball to hit. They're going to try and get him out in front or pop it up.
It's low, it gets away, and look at this. Gomes going to go to third. And now the Royals will have to bring the infield in.
Yeah, that's a rarity. Do you see a ball get by Perez, especially when he went out there? And let's see, he gets on one knee, so he really he came up a little bit on that ball. Rarely do you see one get under him.
Beat him 5-hole.
Yes, he did. And he went out there and he knew it was coming. He didn't even have to put that sign down, but took a skip, and now he moves up 90 feet, and the infield is in.
So Lindor sitting on 76 runs batted in for the year. My goodness.
Now that's Peralta out there. He's a little confused. little different though when you get that man at third base and you have 2 strikes. Now you just go to contact to get him in.
He can't do it. 2 down. So the infield will back up, and it will leave it up to Michael Brantley, who is 2 for 4 tonight. An RBI single in the 3rd and a base hit in the 5th. Both of Brantley's hits have gone the other way, and he almost had a 3rd hit that way his last time up, if not for a great catch by Alex Gordon in left field. Indians have out-hit Kansas City 10-4.
Yeah, Michael had his 40th multi-hit game today.
Fouled right back. Yeah, Brantley just 1 behind Whit Merrifield, who has the 8th most in the American League with 41 multi-hit efforts. And the 0-1.
He's throwing a lot of change-ups too in this inning. Michael's a guy, he stays back, so it shouldn't affect him.
Another foul out of play.
I think Perez knows that. That's why he's throwing some fastballs.
Peralta trying to strand a big insurance run at third base for the Indians. In the dirt, gets away, but not far enough. Perez covers it, and Gomes chases back to third.
Yeah, now you realize that Gomes is on third, so he's not a speedster, and that ball didn't get far enough away.
But he's alert. He's looking for a ball.
Sure he is. I mean, he can get off third base a little more because you see where Dozier's off the bag at third. It allows him to come down the line a little bit more. And you just look down, anticipate a ball being in the dirt.
Up high, full count. Jose Ramirez waits on deck. And Peralta. Be interesting to see, does he challenge Brantley here?
Well, he's thrown him a lot of fastballs in this at bat. I don't know if they want to now, maybe with 3-2, and he hasn't thrown many off-speed pitches, he may try, but Perez is making him go with the hard stuff.
He shook him off about 4 straight times. You can't have that many pitches to begin with.
Yeah, 4 out of the 5 pitches that Michael has seen in this at bat has been fastballs. So we'll see. Let's see the sign. Change up. Here it comes. So he's going to try and trick him here. Look at that. See how he stays back? That's the great take right there. A lot of hitters get anxious and they want to swing at anything 3-2, thinking they're going to get a pitch. He keeps the line moving, man. Take your walk and let Ramirez take a chance. I like that. Nice at bat.
Jose walked in the first inning. And then after a fielder's choice ground out, a fly ball to center, he singled and scored in the 8th. And a breaking ball for a strike. There was the changeup. You can see that the way Perez was motioning, he wanted that changeup. He wanted it to fade away, and that one actually came right back over the middle of the plate, but it was low and out of the zone. Really nursing his way through this inning with runners at first and third with 2 down. And again, nibbling.
Well,
this is outside.
This is the difference. With Brantley, primarily was more fastballs. Against Ramirez, it's going to be more off-speed pitches because they know he can get up to the fastball and he can do a lot of damage and hit it out of the ballpark. So they're going to hope that he preys on his aggressiveness. Change up.
And it's 2-2. Here in the 9th inning with the Indians up a run 4-3.
I think this is what Tito was talking about earlier in Boston. You know, he took a couple of fastballs because he's seeing so many breaking balls that all of a sudden, boom, normally you cannot throw a ball by Ramirez. But when you see a steady diet of off-speed pitches.
And a ground ball bounced to short. And a low throw, but in time to get him. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Cody Allen will try to save it. 4-3 Cleveland. Chevrolet plays of the game. 4th inning, Indians down 3-1. And Yonder Alonso clobbers a home run that broke the water main behind the wall in right field and flooded the outfield.
Yeah.
Then he came up in the 8th inning and hit a mammoth blast to give the Indians a 4-3 lead.
Yeah, and he threw a very close breaking ball there, and then he tried to sneak a heater by him, and Mr. 305 just left the area code, man. He good night. Hit the first breaking ball out. So he's driven in 3 of the 4.
Swinging a fly ball deep left, back goes Brantley, and it's gone. Ryan O'Hearn has tied the game on 1 pitch in the bottom of the 9th. That's his 6th home run. He has 13 hits in his major league career. 13 hits, and 6 of them have been home runs.
Well, he went opposite field, man. You give him credit. If you're going to get beat, that was elevated, though, at 93, and the left-hander stayed on it. He didn't try to pull it. If you're going to get beat, you got to make him go the other way. Well, guess what? He did, and we have a tie game. That's their 5th hit, the first run since the 1st inning.
And that breaking ball missed. Hunter Dozier, a swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Well, these fans finally have something to clap about since the first.
Fly ball right field. This is well hit. Back is Greg Allen, and it is gone, and Kansas City wins it. Unbelievable.
How about two opposite field homers back to back to start the ninth?
It might be the win of the year for Kansas City. Down a run in their final at bat. And on the first pitch, Ryan O'Hearn ties it. And just a couple of pitches later, Hunter Dozier wins it.
Let's take a look at Dozier's pitch and see what it is. That's another fastball that's upstairs. They both did what you're supposed to. They stay on it. And boy, they got some carry to it. The two young guys, see you later. Back-to-back home runs. That's a rarity you see in the ninth inning of a ball game. And all of their runs have come via the long ball tonight. They had a 3-run home run in the first and back-to-back homers in the ninth, and they are walk-off winners.
Last year, Kansas City came to Cleveland for Players Weekend and didn't score a run. Tonight, they hit the Indians in walk-off fashion with back-to-back homers in the bottom of the ninth and win the series opener in stunning fashion by a final score of 5-4. And it sends the Indians to their third straight loss. They are now 73-55. Kansas City stops a 5-game skid. They are 39-90. Time now for Indians Live postgame with Al and Jensen. Well, boys, that was a stunner.